The 2024 season has long been over, and the 2025 season gets closer each and every day. But just because the Detroit Lions season didn't end where we all wish it did, doesn't mean that there weren't memorable moments. The Lions had a franchise record 15 wins last year, which is something we honestly may never see again. So even though the season ended leaving a sour taste in Lions fans' mouths, I still think it's important that we remember the 2024 season for being the best regular season in franchise history. And that's going to be what this series is all about. We're going to look back at the season that was to remember some of the best moments that the Lions had. Whether it was a jaw-dropping highlight, a crazy comeback, or a dominant drive, the moments that made up the 2024 season are worth revisiting. So join me as we count down the top 10 moments of the 2024 season for the Detroit Lions. So welcome back, my friends, to another installment of the top 10 plays of the 2024 Lions season. My name is Zach Payne, and if you're new here, then welcome in, and if you're returning, then, well, welcome back. I'm happy to have you either way. And whether you're new or returning, make sure to go back and watch the other moments in this series already. The link to the playlist will be in the description. And of course, make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe and notifications turned on. I know that it's annoying when you repeatedly get asked that, but it's a very small channel and it really does help. So if you could take 5 seconds to do those 3 things, I would really appreciate it. So, in this series so far, we have, excluding the entire game that we examined, we've looked at individual plays, and we've this is coming full circle in a way that we are getting to about as many different ways to look at one play as we possibly can. And what I mean by that is we started off by examining how one play can push a team over the top to securing a win. We've looked at one play that maybe doesn't have the same significance, but was just incredibly fun. And now today we are looking at a play, well, how one play can completely turn a game on its head. But of course, before we can get into the specific moment, we also have to look at the context surrounding it. So let's start our journey today by going back to week 9 in Lambeau Field for a wet and wild game between the Lions and the Packers. So first things first, this game, it was week 9 and it was the Lions' 4th road game, but funny enough, it was actually their first outdoor game of the season. In fact, it was their first of 3 outdoor games. The Lions only played outdoors 3 times in their 8 road games last year, and one of them was Santa Clara at the end of the year, which, I mean, was very good conditions. So you had this game in Lambeau and a game in Soldier Field that, while cold, was hardly harsh conditions. The Lions got really, really lucky with the conditions they had to play in last season. But of course, this being one of 2 games that had the potential for bad weather, it was a very wet day in Green Bay as it was pouring rain. Now, the Lions were rolling into this game. They were sitting at 6-1, riding a 5-game win streak, and they were fresh off completely destroying the Tennessee Titans by a score of 52-14. And the Green Bay Packers, meanwhile, they were rolling in at 6-2. Yes, they had played an extra game because the Lions had already had their bye week. Death to the early bye, but the Packers were rolling in on a 4-game win streak of their own. So this was a clash of 2 teams that were really hot to start the season. And to open the game, the Packers got the ball first, and, they looked at the game and they just said, you know what, a 60-minute game is just too long. So they promptly deleted the first half of the first quarter, taking a 14-play drive and just under 8 minutes off the clock. But they were unable to get inside the 10 at all, and they had to settle for a field goal. So it was 3-0 after that. And you see the Lions, they looked at how much time the Packers took off the clock, and they promptly decided, you know what? This is too long of a game, and they deleted the rest of the first quarter. They didn't finish that drive until the start of the second quarter. The entire first quarter saw 1 full drive and then most of a second drive. Not even full 2 drives in the first quarter. It was just, both of these teams were super content to play it slow given the conditions and just go incrementally small chunks down the field. and it was working for both of them. So to open the second quarter on 4th and goal, the Lions hit Amon-Ra, well, not the Lions, Jared Goff hits Amon-Ra St. Brown in the corner of the end zone, the front corner of the end zone for a touchdown, and he decides to do this. The teams then went back and forth trading a couple of punts. Weren't 3 and outs, but they were trading punts, and so it was still 7-3. But then the Packers, they had another decent drive. They get inside the 30, but Brandon McManus misses a 46-yarder, so it's still 7-3. At this point, there's just over 5 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Lions, they went on a decent drive, killing most of the remaining time. They get inside the 10, but they're unable to score a touchdown. Jake Bates comes out and kicks a short field goal to push the lead 10-3 to make it a 7-point lead. So at this point, you're up 10-3. There's a minute left in the half. You're thinking, okay, let's just get to the locker room, up 10-3. We get ball at halftime. We're feeling good. It's a good situation to be in. It's not fantastic. It's not the best thing in the world. But all things considered, the Lions have been playing pretty well so far. But that brings us to today's moment to show just how quickly the dynamic of a game can change with one big play. Because you see, Jordan Love is quite the character, and he probably has, like, if you interviewed 100 NFL fans at random, you might hear 100 different opinions on Jordan Love. He's a very dividing figure in the NFL. Packers fans, most of them swear by him, and the believers swear by him, swear that he's a top 5 quarterback in the league or will be a top 5 quarterback, whereas haters say that he's a turnover machine and he's way too inconsistent and he jumps off his back foot and makes weird throws all the time. And I mean, the truth is somewhere in the middle. He's a good quarterback who just is very chaotic. And I fittingly refer to him as an agent of chaos because you never quite know what's going to happen when he has the ball in his hands and he's trying to make a play. He's prone to playing hero ball a little too much, and that can lead to mistakes. Again, sometimes he's capable of doing great things. He's super talented, can do things that very few QBs in the league can do. But sometimes you also get, well, this.
Lions bring a late blitz. Love back, looking, being chased. Love throw, picked off the line. Kirby Joseph, left side. He's gonna go, baby. Count it down. 5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions. Wow, how big is that?
Kirby Joseph, the Lions' defensive MVP last year, one of the only players that stayed healthy the whole year, one of the only players that was performing at a good level all year, and he was an elite level, obviously. Just an absolute lightning strike out of nowhere, instantly turns this game on its head. And suddenly a game that the Lions, like 30 seconds prior, were leading 7-3. It's now 17-3 heading into the locker room, and the Lions get the ball. And to start the second half, they would make good with that possession with a touchdown to go up 24-3. And the game was over. At that point, the game was over. The Lions had won. It was not going to be, with the conditions, it was going to be too difficult for the Packers to mount a comeback. Jordan Love was also battling a groin injury, so he couldn't move around all that well. It was over. It was over. Jordan Love with just a ridiculously stupid decision, and credit to Joseph, an absolutely fantastic play by him on a weird blitz screen kind of mishmash where the Packers were like running a screen and Love tried to flip it through the blitz, but Kirby Joseph, man, he just has a nose for the football. And he gets a pick 6. And, the Packers, with the way 2-minute drills, they're not quite full drives, especially the one after that. The Packers offense, essentially, they get the ball and they're trying to tie the game up 10-10. And the next time they touch the ball, like seriously touch the ball, they're down 24-3 and the game's practically over. It's just insane. And that, my friends, is how one play can completely change a game. So thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed it, again, remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you loved it, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads, and drop a comment down below letting me know what your favorite moments of the 2024 Lions season was. But that's going to be it for this one. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.